Welcome back to Falkert Figures, where today we're going to be doing another WWF Hasbro figure unboxing with a tag team theme. So as you can see, I have my three WWF Hasbro tag team sets that I have loose at the moment on the table. I've got the Nasty Boys, I've got the Rockers, and I've got the Legion of Doom. These are the guys that I have in my current loose figure collection. Different backstories to each of them. I've gone over it in previous videos, but Nasty Boys were picked up loose. Legion of Doom, where they were picked up as a graded set that had a bashed up case that I took back out the case, and the Rockers, they were taken off card in a previous video as well. So they all look pretty good, they all look pretty minty. I'm more than happy with them all in my loose figure collection. But of course, there are more than just these three tag teams in the Hasbro series, so I need to press on, need to get them all, need to add to the collection. So one of the other tag teams that are in the tag team figure sets are these guys, the Bushwhackers. So picked up the Bushwhackers on a foreign card. It's on I think an Italian card. Yeah, it's on an Italian card. Not the best of shape. Got a little tear at the bottom, kind of dog-eared at the corners and stuff. So Bushwhackers, they're a kind of easy pickup on any card. You can get them relatively straightforward, whether it's an English card or a foreign card or what have you. Even minty mint, they're not that hard to come by. You can get the Bushwhackers, so they were always going to be a kind of an easy one to tick off the list, and I got them the other day. Yeah, so let's crack them open. Looking butch. That's coming up pretty nice. A little bit of tape inside. Like, I don't really understand why that happens. Like, they put tape on the inside of the card. I noticed that when I opened up Brutus Beefcake in a previous video, his scissors, his shears were taped to the card, which makes sense. But I don't understand why you do it on figures that don't have accessories. I don't know if it's something to do with like stopping them from rubbing or something. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. So here they are. Here are the boys. There's Butch. There's Luke. Yeah, so the Bushwhackers, these are pretty good, cool figures, pretty unique figures, because I mean this was what their whole gimmick was this kind of the Bushwhacker march, if you like, and to have a unique move so appropriate to the character is pretty cool, because a lot of the wrestlers that have got a Hasbro figure, they have a move that just does not make sense to who they are or what their gimmick is. Bushwhackers, they're not the case. That's not the case with them at all. They're spot on for their sort of in-ring persona, if you like. These were actually the first time I got Hasbro figures. I'm just going to check this guy. He's got the stomp, same as $1 Million Man. Pull up his leg and he stomps. Yeah, they're both in pretty good nick, even though just not going over. I don't see any scuffs or anything. But yeah, I was going to say the Bushwhackers, they are one of the sets that I had the very first time I got Hasbro figures that I can remember. I mean, it might be a bit sort of, he's not going to stand up at all, is he? He's turn his waist right. I might have a few sort of skewed memories and things, but certainly my main memory of getting Hasbro figures was one Christmas, which I'm guessing is 1991. It must have been 91, because I got a stack of Hasbros all at the same time. I got the LOD, the Road Warriors, I got Hulk Hogan, I got Roddy Piper, I got Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and I got the Bushwhackers. And those, for a long time, those were the wrestlers that I had. And it's got to built it up from there. But for the first few months, that was my collection. Was that group of guys. I sort of vaguely recall having odd figures, like picking up odd figures here and there, and I'm not entirely sure if maybe one of those times it was before that Christmas or after. But certainly I remember that Christmas opening up those figures, and because most of the figures that were there, I think it was a Hulk Hogan #1 that I had with the Gorilla Press Slam, but Roddy Piper, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, the two tag teams, they came out in Series 2, so they would have been 1991 releases. So that's why I'm thinking that's probably Christmas '91 that I got them. Yeah, so I think, but that these guys are like, they go way back in my memory for Hasbro figures, and everybody had Bushwhackers as well. Everybody had them, and they were always involved, always involved in the matches I was having. Bushwhackers, because they were fan favourites as well. If you ever saw the WWF, you watched the videos, or you collected the stickers or anything like that, you know, everyone liked the Bushwhackers. Everybody had time for it. Everyone did the sort of Bushwhacker march. Even now, like at rugby training when we're warming up and stuff, people talk about do some Bushwhackers, loosen off your shoulders. So yeah, pretty iconic, and delighted to have these guys in the collection. So what I'll do is I'll stick one at one side and one at the other, just so it's kind of more even. Cool. Yeah, so anyone that follows the Hasbro figure series, the WWF Hasbro figure series, will know there's only one more tag team set that I need to get, which I don't have yet. I'm hunting that down. That's a Demolition. So Demolition's a tricky one, because Demolition came out in their single releases in Series 1, Axe and Smash, but they then came out alongside the tag team sets that were released alongside Series 2 the following year. But it wasn't Axe and Smash, it was Crush and Smash, because anyone that follows the WWF around that time knows that Demolition went through a phase where I'm guessing that Axe was kind of getting a bit too old, or he couldn't cut the mustard anymore, and they tried to sort of transition him out. They made them a team of three for a while, and Axe kind of transitioned into the managerial mode and then just disappeared entirely. He just wasn't there after that. And Crush and Smash were the tag team that came out. So yeah, I have, without any spoilers, I do have in my possession certain Demolition figures that we're going to be unboxed in a future video, but I'm just not entirely sure how to play this one, given that Demolition is a bit of a unique one in the Hasbro figure line, in so much as there are singles releases and a tag team release, and the tag team release isn't a direct replica of the singles releases. So it's a tough one, but you'll definitely see those guys getting unboxed in future. But yeah, so Demolition was a tag team set, but there were tag teams released in the WWF Hasbro line that were not in tag team sets. Now, depending on who you talk to, people have different opinions on this. I've already mentioned in a previous video, I think the Twin Towers were supposed to be released as a tag team. Like, they were both in Series 1. I think it was because they were a tag team at the time. That's Hakeem and the Big Boss Man. So I think technically they're one of the tag teams that were released. And another one that's up for debate is the Natural Disasters. You've got Earthquake and Typhoon. They were very much a tag team when their figures were released. In fact, I think they were released in the same series as well. But the problem with that one is Typhoon's in his natural disaster gear, and Earthquake isn't. Earthquake's in the gear that he wore with his singles run. He did have quite a good singles run. I think he was like the bad guy that Hulk Hogan was fighting for a while. But so he wore his blue suit when he was in a singles guy, and then he transitioned into the black and red to kind of match Typhoon when they became the Natural Disasters. So for me, they were never really a tag team in the Hasbro line, because they weren't in matching outfits. You know, they weren't in their Natural Disasters costumes. So I never really considered Earthquake and Typhoon to be one of the tag team releases. Other people will disagree with that. Other people will say no, they absolutely were. But yeah, and as the series goes on, there are more and more tag teams released as singles figures. So probably the most prominent ones would be the Smoking Guns in the Green Card series, the final series. They're the hardest ones to come by. I mean, they are just extortionate. To get your hands on green cards is really, 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 really tough. But Billy and Bart, Smoking Guns, they're released in singles figures within the Green Card series. So, but they're very much a tag team. You know, they are. I think it actually says in their cards, Billy Gunn of the Smoking Guns, Bart Gunn of the Smoking Guns. So they are released as a tag team in single figure form. Another one's the Head Shrinkers on the blue card. Samu and Fatu, they are released as a tag team, but in single form as well. And in the same series, in the blue card series, the Bushwhackers are re-released. Same figures again. I believe their heads are switched over, so Luke has Butch move and Butch has Luke's move, but they're kind of repainted. They're in a slightly different colour camo. I think it's like the sand colour camo one that they're in, and they have hat accessories in their single releases. But yeah, so throughout the Hasbro series figures, they kind of moved away from tag team sets. I don't know if it was they were losing money or they weren't making as much money doing it that way, and started releasing tag teams as single figures. And one of the other tag teams that released single figures were these boys. So Scotty is the first Steiner brother, and I've also got his tag team partner, Rick Steiner. So we're going to crack these boys open and see how they look. So Scott first. This is well before his somewhat infamous Big Papa Pump character that he had in WCW. He was actually an absolute beast. He was probably, if you watch back videos or old pay-per-view footage and stuff, when he was one of the Steiner brothers, you know, like this in WWE or even WCW, he was massive. I don't remember him at the time being like as jacked as he was, but when you watch it back now, even then he was huge. He was a monster, and he must have been on the juice, man. He must have been taking the roids back then as well, because he is just massive. But this is a pretty cool figure. He does this crazy move. I'm not entirely sure how you're meant to play this. I've seen people do they're meant to flip over. So you put like another figure's head in there. Oof, I don't want to do it with one of these guys in case I bash him about. And then they flip over. But it's the same move as like Mr. Perfect has, Crush, Adam Bomb, not Demolition Crush when his later release as a single guy. It's Kona Crush or as Evil Crush in the Green Card series. He's just a repaint. But they've got that move. Yeah, that's kind of the funniest. I'm not really entirely sure if that is how you're meant to do it. I kind of, obviously it's got the arm that comes down just to throw a hammer fist if you like, but I think there is more of a complicated, like put a head in there and then they sort of suplex him or something. I'm not entirely sure, but that's a decent figure though. Yeah, he looks pretty clean as well. Not really much. He came on a really dusty card. The Scott Steiner card. Not only was it really dusty, it also had like a big dent in the top of the bubble, so I was a bit concerned that it might, when it came out, have some dings and stuff on it, but it looks pretty cool. Pretty cool even. Yeah, so here's his brother. Now, Rick, slightly different issue, Rick. Rick's actually on a good card. He's on a decent card. I'm probably just looking at it like that. It looks like he's on a really good card, but what actually happened, I don't know if you can see this, but it was kind of warped. It looked like it'd been water damaged or something, and it was curved right over when I first got it. I got it about a week ago, and when I got it, I flattened it. I put a big book on top of it to try and flatten out, and it has worked to some extent. It's flattened out a little bit, but if you look really close, I don't know if you can see, but there's now like a lot like creasing, and it's all wrinkled along where it curves over. I thought I might be able to salvage it, but it now just looks like it is fairly damaged. I know it looks from a distance like it's quite bright, quite fresh, but up close it is a bit kind of wrinkled, and I think it has been water damaged, because if you look in the bubble, you can see this kind of sort of like mouldy bits. I suppose a tiny little bit of mould behind this bubble as well. So. On first sight, it's probably something that people would think, "Wow, that's a decent." And it's not an easy one to come by. There was only one or two options with Rick Steiner, but there are not that many of them out there. But I think when you get it in your hand, you have close inspection. It's probably not the type of figure that'd be worth keeping on the card. And I never had a Rick Steiner, so I'm going to open up anyway, just to have him in my hand. So here's Rick. Yeah, he's actually really nice. I was looking at Scott thinking, whoa, my action is like almost sticking, it's so stiff. I was looking at Scott Steiner thinking, maybe looked a bit faded. Yeah, is that actually broken? And I think it's just stiff. I have to loosen off a bit. it feels like it's catching everything. It doesn't go very far around. I was looking at Scott Steiner thinking he maybe looked a bit faded. And I'm now that I see him next to Rick, maybe he does actually. I'm not entirely sure if that's a deliberate thing with the Hasbros. They're meant to have a slightly different skin tone. But yeah, Rick certainly looks brighter, fresher. He looks a lot more. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened there. Camera just completely cut out and stopped recording. But anyway, back on track. Yeah, so Rick Steiner and Scott Steiner. And we've got Luke and Butch as well, who now take pride of place in the WWF Hasbro loose figure collection. So the collection grows, and hopefully it is going to grow some more as well, because I've got some more videos lined up. I've already sort of touched on it a little bit earlier in the video. I've got a few other guys that are going to be in my next sort of Hasbro unboxing videos. I'm trying to theme them, so I'm trying to get together a group of figures that all kind of match up with each other. So a couple of instances, I'm still waiting for like one guy to get that really sort of unique group together that I want to do one video with. But they'll all be coming soon. Also got some UKG, again, still waiting for that order to come. UKG order that should be back soon, that I'll be doing an unboxing video for. And we've got a couple of slightly different figure lines, going to branch away from the WWF Hasbro for one or two videos as well. So stay tuned for all of those. Like, comment, subscribe, ring your notification bell. Stay safe, and I'll speak soon.